Welcome to today's video. Our topic today is house removal proceedings and its impact on family. House removal proceedings are legal actions taken by a person to evict another person from a share or jointly owned property, usually in the context of matrimonial disputes. The person seeking eviction may be the owner or co-owner of the property and may have some other legal right or interest in the property. The person facing eviction may be the spouse, former spouse, children, parents, or any other relative or occupant of the family. House removal proceedings can significantly impact family law matters such as divorce, maintenance, domestic violence, child custody, and inheritance. Depending on the factors and circumstances of each case, the court may grant or deny house removal orders and consider the effect of such orders on the right and interest of the parties involved. Now, what are the legal framework for legal proceedings? For legal proceedings, there are some different statutes and law provide for house removal proceedings in India. Depending on the nature and status of the parties and the property, some of the relevant laws are the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. This act provides for various reliefs of women who are the victims of domestic violence, including the right to reside in a shared household, which is defined as household when the woman lives or has lived with her husband or partner. The Act also empowers the court to pass residence to orders which may restrain the respondent from disposing or disturbing the possession of the woman from the shared household, or may direct him to secure alternative accommodation for her. The Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. This act governs the marriage and divorce of Hindus and also provides the various reliefs such as maintenance, alimony, custody, and restitution of conjugal rights. The Act also empowers the court to pass interim orders for maintenance and custody during the pendency of divorce proceedings and to grant permanent alimony and custody after the dissolution of the marriage. The Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 CRPC. This code provides for the procedure for criminal cases in India and also contains provisions for maintenance of wives, children, and parents under Section 125. The code also empowers the courts to pass interim orders for maintenance during the pendency of such proceedings and to enforce the payment of maintenance by various means. Now, our next act will be the Transfer of Property Act 1882. This act governs the transfer of immovable property in India and also contains the provisions for co-ownership, partition, sale, mortgage, lease, and other modes of transfer. The Act also empowers the court to pass injunction to restrain any person from transferring or disposing of any property in dispute. Fourthly, that is the Specific Relief Act 1963 SRA. This act provides for various remedies for breach of contract or violation of legal rights such as the specific performance, injunctions, declarations, and damages. This act also empowers the court to grant injunctions to prevent any person from disturbing or interfering with any right or interest of any property. Now, our next topic will be what are the factors that are reason or the factors which are relevant in house removal. House removal includes violation of migration law. Violation of migration law can be the reasons of the parents who break immigration laws and also most likely to detained or deported, which would result in the removal of their homes without accommodation, without adequate documentation like is the visa or the other legal status. Those are not adequate with them, or they run away from the nation in the danger of being deported. These can be the various reasons for violation of immigration law. Secondly, criminal convictions. Criminal conviction is a major decision for the immigration officials to being removal or imprisonment proceedings. An individual immigration status may be in jeopardy after being convicted of certain crimes. And when a person has committed heinous crimes that endanger the public safety and which is the topmost priority for every state. And for this criminal activity, the moral turpitude of the country get distorted, and for which this is one of the most important factor. Now, secondly, the visa expiration. This has also been a very crucial element for the removal of homes, and the termination of the parents' legal right to remain in the nation by the expiration of their visa. They may run the risk of being violation of migration laws and being themselves up to removal procedures if they do not renew their visa or renew their legal status of their visa before it expires. Now, fourthly, immigration enforcement priorities. Immigration enforcement priorities may be set according to the different criteria of different jurisdictions, and for which the government change based on political climates and security, and governments devote their funds to prioritize this factor, and also to target a particular people for examination, detention and potential removal of immigration authorities through their laws and other services that may work in this factor. Now, our fourth topic will be what are the consequences that may impact the house removal. For house removal, proceedings may have a very bad impact on the factors of the person, like the psychological impact. This may feels the person a lot of anxiety, stress, depression and instability about their future and living conditions. The person loses a familiar and comfortable environment, which leads to sadness and grief. Children are vulnerable by nature, and the house removal leads them to a situation of fear and confusion. For financial impact, it may happen that house removal proceedings cause a lot of disruption and disturbance in the life of the person, including new accommodation, deposits, rent, cost of moving, unexplained expenses. All these can lead to financial strain, and sometimes financial strain can also lead to mental depression or insomnia. Education disruption, that house removal proceedings can also cause disturbance in the education of the children, and they may need to change the schools in their midterm, which may face a lot of new challenges like making of friends, adapting with the new environment, with the new teachers and students, which leads the children towards the feeling of fear and stress. Social disconnection. A person often has strong connections with their surroundings or the neighborhood, and due to this house removal can break the ties of the person to live in isolation. And the forced removal can also impact on all the beings, which cause stress, depression and anxiety in person. Now, health issue, moving on from one to place to another, the physical strength as well as the mental strength of also hampers that person. Physical and mental strength, fatigue, stress, anxiety, and depression, poor mental status further compromises his or her physical well-being. So this comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.